All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Tuesday. Happy dreaded creeping rally day. And yeah, hopefully everyone's feeling sharp, refreshed, recharged, and ready to go. And are excited for what should hopefully be a smooth and calm trading day. Um, Spent a little bit of time there last night, thinking about some of the action here recently, right? How I've traded, strategy, application, right? The whole 9 yards, and feeling both satisfied, right, with the trading, but also feeling as if there's a tremendous amount of room for improvement. And I'm curious to see basically where this evolution is going to go, or how it's going to kind of shape up. Um, to be determined, right? If it's still like if it's just like a market conditions thing, right? And dynamics have changed a little bit, and that's like forcing me to take more trades, right? But then basically like work back into green days, or if maybe that like the edges are graded a little bit, right? And yeah, it's more effective, right, in a different time of day. To be determined, right, what that variant is, or what that means. But the thought that I had in my mind here a little bit, right, is maybe um to trade the opening range, right, or to trade the mean reversion looks, right, a little bit later on in the morning. So take the first little chunk of the day off from that strategy, right, or turn it off from that here in the short term, because the win rate in the first 30 minutes is significantly underperforming, right, the win rate in the next hour. So, there's a pretty easy and obvious change or fix to be made there. And to think about potentially like a different technique, right, for the first candle or the first, 30 minutes of the day. So it's kind of like my long-term homework assignment on figuring that out. And in the short term, right, at least being much more conservative on the indexes until we break out from these range bound conditions and are able to return basically right to some form of trending markets. So with that, right, probably means like a little bit less focus on NQ in the first 30 minutes of the day, maybe focusing more on CL inside that period, right? Applying the aggression there, and then trying to identify some sort of alternative breakout strategy, right, to trade in the opening 30 minutes, to basically take advantage of that momentum. What I want to find, and I guess what the objective is, right, is to find a probability of like the first three candles, right, of a time frame. So the first 9 minutes of the day on the three, the first 15 minutes, right, on the five, and the first 30 minutes on the 10. Um, Basically finding a pattern that I can replicate that gives me like a 70% chance, right, of being PNL green at the end of those three candles. So it's kind of what I'm looking for here. I've got a few little things I want to test and play around with, and then think about it from that perspective. The other thing that I was kind of playing around with there a little bit yesterday was the tradable hours, right, of these prop firms, and the times of day that we can take advantage of moves. So I believe my understanding of this is correct, but maybe it could be adjusted here. I'll be testing this a little bit in the background. But you can place a trade right as soon as like um, I think it's at 6 p.m. Central Time, something along those lines, right? For the start of like quote unquote pre-market trading. And there might be a strategy where we could do a quote unquote swing trade where you open up a position, an hour after traditional market close, and then close that position right at the start of the day, kind of like we're doing here now, right? Or it would be closing at sort of like this 9 a.m., 9:30 time frame. Um, yeah, because if this is a market that's giving us a vast majority of moves there overnight, it would be valuable for us to have some sort of technique, right, that we could be a little bit hands off with and just do overnight type style trading. That might also be really beneficial for a lot of other individuals. And so, again, thinking about maybe how to best execute that. What that's really like, I guess reminding me, right, is it's two things. So one, trading is like a constant evolution, and that it is the constant improvement of wanting to get better. And I think element number two, right, is that it's kind of a little bit humbling as well, where it is forcing me to put my ego in check, where I think that there's a divergence between performance and perception here, and I think that the longer that that divergence basically remains in play, the less confident I'm going to be as a trader, right? And then I think probably the becomes kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. So, yeah, kind of a lot of things there firing through my head. Maybe next week a little bit. I'm gonna put some time towards those elements, right, or towards some of those different ideas. I generally like to take or like to do that when I have a little bit of time off, and we're gonna have that time right next week. With markets closed on Thursday, Friday, and I'm not going to trade Friday. So yeah, that's kind of the blueprint here for me for the month of June. Those are really the kind of things that I want to focus on here quite a lot. And I think that the more that I focus on those elements, I can kind of get back to like smooth, calm, relaxed, right? Easier, maybe even trading, right? If that's the right adjective, instead of, yeah, needing to um dig a hole, pyramid my way out of it, and then walk away with a reasonable green instead of what should be a much stronger, much more powerful, right? Much more potent PNL. And yeah, I feel like I'm leaving too much money on the table. So time to fix that. Time to get serious about making those changes, and hopefully, right, we can take advantage of whatever enthusiasm is in play for us, and we can keep kind of going. Now, I don't think that this experience has been a negative. All things considered, right? P&L is still strong, still getting decent momentum. And we're still able to take advantage a little bit of some of the price action that's out there. And it's definitely forced me to uh, like push right my mental capital, force myself to remain calm and to it is kind of a rewarding skill to know that you can bail yourself out of a trading day if required. But it's a muscle that I think I'm flexing a little bit too much here recently. I don't want to be flexing it all the time. It just sets me up to get hurt or injured. And I think that's probably an experience that a lot of, or sensation that a lot of people are feeling with the market here right now. And so I want to get out of this survive sensation, right, and back into that kind of thrive mode. So yeah, it's kind of like the thought process top of my mind. Um, yeah, trying to sort some other things out, right? Just from like a timing perspective, make sure that I'm feeling sharp and good to go. Obviously, one of the big changes for me since moving out west is just the difference or the amount of time that I have in the mornings. So just like trying to wake up a little bit earlier, be a little bit sharper right by the time the day kicks up. Maybe we can not use the market right to wake ourselves up effectively, and can go from there. So from like a thought process, it's slow down a little bit on the aggression on trading the indexes, at least until they prove to us that aggression is warranted. Think about potentially trying to find like a new pattern just to trade that opening 30 minutes. Deploy the opening range breakouts and mean reversion techniques for the 30 minutes, or sorry, from like the 10 a.m. to 11:30 time period. And then try to see if there's something that we could take advantage of from an overnight perspective, and really use the sort of full scope here of the tradable hours to find an edge that's consistently repeatable, right? And kind of manages our risk expectations. So a lot of stuff to think about there, a lot of stuff to bring into today's trading day. But yeah, I feel excited. I feel motivated. Put a good session into TradingView there last night. So I feel like I'm seeing things pretty well, and excited to see what the market has in store for us here today. And hopefully we can get ourselves a clean day or two prior to the futures roll really kicking off. And we can, yeah, get a couple smooth trading days here under our belt, and look for a bit of early momentum here in the week. Nothing too crazy from an economic calendar perspective here today. Obviously, the big event there is tomorrow, right? And then outside of that, right, we just have the execution event, right, of the futures roll. So, eventually here at some point, right, indexes are going to want to catch up. And hopefully we can start to get that breakout here soon, because this coiling type of price action is starting to get exhausting. All right. Well, with that being said, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a great start to the AM. And yeah, let's start mapping things out. Let's figure out what we want to do here this morning, and let's put ourselves in a great situation to just have ourselves a smooth trading day. The challenge that I want to give to everyone here, right, is to think about surviving, not thriving. And I know that sounds maybe a little bit pessimistic, and maybe that sounds defeatist, but I promise you that's not the intention there. I want everyone to be thinking about their position sizing and be very selfish, right, in their sizing, and to be actually forcing themselves to size down, not size up. You're going to make more money in choppy conditions, but you're going to maintain more mental capital for when opportunities do come together, and you're going to be able to execute them following all the parameters, right? Instead of, just like, I need to make back this number here today. I want everyone to think about their position sizing, and to be really extremely selfish in that context. And the reality for most traders, I would say 99% of traders, is that they need to size down, not size up. You can create leverage for yourself in other ways. You don't need to do it by purchasing more contracts than required on your individual account. All right. So yeah, what's the count here on ES? Let's start there, and let's have ourselves a hell of a day here, team. Yeah, 2 out of 3 here to the upside. Sorry, without volume. Not exactly an enthusiastic session. Yeah, you're spot on. Had to double check it there for a moment. But we'll call this effectively the same, right? It's now a fake out lower and a fake out higher here in the pre-market. And we don't really have any strong conviction narratives, right? So 60-40 is going to be our starting point here to the upside. To the downside, right, we're going to be looking at our pre-market low, which is 59.90. So again, not much needs to change here from that area. And we're just going to be looking for a high conviction move. I think really what we need to see here today is just volume, right? Yesterday, we didn't see volume step in any enthusiastic form. We had a pace that was significantly lower than what we saw there on Friday. So if we could see momentum return here today, that ultimately could be something that we could then take advantage of. Maybe still a little bit early here today, but maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, maybe even Friday, we start thinking about trading the September contract instead of the forward contract. So right now, ES1 is still going to be the June futures contract. And maybe there's a little bit of a volume bleed into the September. we could see more trading volume occur there versus the June. And if that's the case, right, we'll switch to that. I still think a little bit too early for us to have that discussion, but we're thinking about here as we kind of creep into the execution of the role, especially if we see the volume basically evaporate completely. At that point, right, it won't be valuable for us to trade June. It would be worth for us to trade September. So we can cross that bridge when we get to it a little bit here today. But for now, we'll stick to ES1. All right, NQ, how do we feel? Similar, not so similar? Yeah, same story, right? It's a 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume, maybe a slightly larger range here in the pre-market, but nothing too nuts. I mean, we're looking at what 988 here's the high, so we're looking at 22, right, as our target, right, and then towards all-time highs and beyond. To the downside here, 21.7. Again, not much changing here from a levels perspective. Everything is pretty much the same as it was there yesterday. And we're looking basically just for this wedge breakout, right? Either to the upside or to the downside. And until that happens, probably expecting that like creeping dreaded rally. And if we can avoid that type of price action today, I think we're going to maintain those mental capital reserves. Okay, CL, what's the count? How do we feel? What's maybe unique about CL here today? What do we think? Yeah, I mean it's a 2 out of 3 here. Now we'll call it a 2 out of 3, but it's a breakout here, right? It's a breakout above that 64. We've supported it. We're kind of getting that trend line breakout. So this probably is the best indication, right, of potentially trending price action. It's breakout, consolidation, breakout. So maybe now here setting up, right, for a bit of a continuation narrative. Ideally, right, what we'd like to see here today is a level of enthusiasm, right, volume wise that we haven't seen over the last couple of days. So if we can get larger volume than what we established there yesterday and momentum there to the upside, certainly creates a scenario, right, where we should have a bit of oomph. We're at, 65.50 here pre-market. So starting point of 66 continues to be reasonable. And we'll call this a 1.5 out of 3, just because we've seen it both be a gap up and a gap down. But primary bias here would be to the upside. And then, I mean, eventually it's got space up towards $70, probably a little bit too aggressive for us to get that move here today. But we can go to 68, fine. $3 a room's quite a bit. In theory, you do have space here to the downside, probably targeting 64-ish. If this could continue to act as support, right, probably still maintains that trend here continuing to the upside. But best case scenario, or what we would hope is the path of least resistance here, is higher. And we're looking towards 64. So we're at what, 65.50. So we'll go 65. And then 63. So path of least resistance here, I think, is to the upside. And yeah, let's see if it wants to give us a level of enthusiasm that could be interesting. Okay, Apple, 3 for 3 here to the downside. NVIDIA, the order of this seems weird. Where's Microsoft? It is all weird. All right, fine. 2 out of 3 with volume. Tesla, 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. Microsoft, 2 out of 3 without volume. Made a lower low and a higher high. It's kind of indecisive. Amazon, 2 out of 3 without volume. Nice little gap fill and go. Get this order sorted out, driving me nuts. Okay. AMD, 2 out of 3 without volume. Sorry, 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. I had a panic there. Good morning, David. Meta, pretty big gap up, all things considered. Higher high, higher low. So some bullish characteristics there, right? And then Netflix, can it find support off of 120.20? And that's a 1 out of 3. So it could be a spot for some dip buyers here. And then Google, 2 out of 3 without volume here as well. 5-cent gap up. So kind of a mixed bag, right, on our indexes. Some telling us stories higher, some telling us stories lower. And then CL, right, probably our best indication here of trending momentum to the upside. If we can get that momentum, right, we're going to be looking to try to focus on this as much as possible instead of trying to put our energy into something else. Indexes, we'd like to see them break out from these ranges, right? The sooner that they can do that, the easier it is for us to actually get some enthusiasm and to get away from some of those like creeping bits of price action. Really what I'm looking for here today is a smooth and clean trading day. I don't want stress. I don't want anxiety. I don't want to make things more difficult for myself or to start off in a hole. I want to look for the best opportunity. If that means I have to wait till 11:30 before I place a trade, no worries. If that means I have to place one here at 9:45, no worries. I'm going to try to be as objective as I can and look at price action in kind of a calm manner here as much as possible. The priority to a certain extent is going to be to focus on CL early. That's got the best indication there of trending PA. And then after the opening 30 minutes to open up kind of the view across the board. I'm going to be willing to trade the opening range on CL in the opening 30 minutes. And then I'll introduce that pretty much everywhere else right at 10:01 or whatever it is. So yeah, that's really the plan here for today. Any questions? How's everyone feeling? Good, good. Love that, Jeff. All right, team. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to spend a few minutes visualizing a successful trading day, get my mind right, make myself a cup of coffee, give the dog a couple little belly rubs, and then we'll jump back in a couple minutes and we'll do a quick little rundown here before the session starts. So I'll be back in a couple. Talk to you guys in a second. All right, everybody. So let's have ourselves a heck of a trading day. Again, let's see how things open up, right? See where momentum kind of creeps up and where that enthusiasm shows up here this morning. Primary focus is going to be on CL to start the day off, right? We're going to be looking at what that type of enthusiasm looks like here today. And if it's strong, right, that's going to be the priority. If it's weak, we'll look for trading something else kind of a little bit later on in the morning session. So let's see basically where, yeah, that enthusiasm shows up. Let's look at what the volume looks like here to start the day off as well, right? Yesterday's volume was pretty pathetic. So if we can't get larger volume than that, it's going to be a huge red flag. So let's see, right, basically where that enthusiasm shows up, if it's willing to show up, and then we can go from there. Any questions, guys, about the kind of plan here today? Or what we want to do. How's everyone feeling? Love your gift, Chris. All right, so CL showing some early strength. NQ fading. How do you feel about the volume? Looks like it might be less than yesterday. Very light open. Correct. Is yeah, so it's just thin volume so far. Very, very thin volume. ES looked a little bit stronger than NQ, but volume perspective, still not that increasing. CL, we're going to need to see a pretty enthusiastic breakout here. Not tremendous volume again. I mean, there's such a even basic pattern of just if the first candle is green, the next candle is most likely to be green. If the first candle is red, right, the next candle is most likely to be red. Not gonna trade that, but I mean, we talked about finding patterns, right, in the morning. Hey, what's an executable pattern that one could find that would give you, 60 to 70% chance, right, of knowing that the next candle is your direction or not? We should get increasing volume here on CL. It would be shocking if we didn't. So let's focus on this. Okay, so there's that increasing volume. And now you'd be, for now, right? We can have it boxed in like this. We still got a lot of work to do before this confirms. Right, another 50 seconds, but hey, preparation's a good thing. And so we need it to close above 51, right? So a 52 close or better in 30 seconds. Long or short? Okay. Why'd you go short? What was your setup thesis? Yeah, that's just a custom Fibonacci tool. All right, so let's focus on CL here, guys. Let's focus on CL. So stop loss would be 65.44. So first thing I'm typing in, right? 65.44. And then I know that my entry needs to be under 51. I'm sizing my risk for that, right? Which would mean that I'm buying 7 contracts. And then I'm waiting, right, for now price to go under about 50 or so. Let's see. Too fast of a pullback here so far. Wait. I will say it makes me a little bit nervous when it just gets stuck and doesn't move. That's a better feeling or better movement. All right, guys. So I am in. Average price 65.49. 7 contract, stop loss 65.44. And I don't like that it just gets stuck. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. So let's see if we can give us a breakout here. It was a really good entry, guys. It was a really good entry. But now it's got a pop. I am not liking how it's feeling like it's in molasses. That is making me very, very nervous. So let's see if it's got the juice here. And come on, breakout. Breakout. Too slow. Okay, let's see if we can go. I don't like this reaction. Okay, I've closed my trade, guys. I've closed this at 65.52. Of course. I can try this again, right, on the aggressive entry technique. But the thing that's bothering me, right, with CL is that it's getting very sticky and very stuck, right? So I don't want to attach my mental capital to something that feels like it's going to rug pull me. Albeit I close this for sure too early. A little win's a little win. We'll take it. But I should have trusted this thesis more. I got in my own head a little bit. With the indexes, guys, I'm going to be waiting a little bit to trade them. And for now, still just going to focus on CL. I feel very dumb for closing that where I did. Ooh. All right. I mean, we theoretically have another possible entry here. Yeah, I don't have gold back tested, Brian. That's why I don't focus on it. All right. So sorry, it's just in the what I'm trying to do here is to update my trading journal in the moment, right? Or for my P&L tracking. So I was just typing in my first entry there for that CL trade. And yeah, okay, good decision, right, to avoid NQ here so far. This just looks like a disaster. I mean, all things considered, just looks like a disaster. Here, maybe you could target a move towards like 66, right? It's a breakout through 65.50. That's what we had mapped out. So maybe something along those lines could be in play. Baby steps, right? Baby steps. Refine your focus well on the first trade. Maybe got a little bit nervous, right? It's kind of what I wrote down in my journal. That like I was nervous once price action felt like it was being really slow. that I didn't want to see it go green to red. And I had maybe no reason to fear that besides just like some of my big trading baggage. So a little bit disappointing. That's the way she goes. Time to reset, right? And potentially try again here. 645, we got that breakout. So we could look at this, right? 65 as a stop loss. Right? And reference price would be 70, we'll call it, right? So I'd be risking about $350 with 7 contracts, which is my previous order. I could go up to like 9 here potentially. And let's see if this thing wants. Again, I'm looking for a CL long here. Okay, now I'd have to size down. I just missed it. It's not necessarily that like NQ's it moves too fast. It's fine with the speed that it moves. It's just that it's been doing fake out higher, fake out lower, fake out higher, fake out lower, which is causing quite a bit of trauma. Okay, so we want to watch this pullback here very carefully. Okay, watching. Now I'd be looking right at 8 contracts. Maybe 7 again. I'm going to go 7, keep it tight. Okay, so watching. So 65 would be the stop, right? Still just watching. It's testing me with that sticky price action again. Okay, maybe not going to get it on this time frame here. And I could get a more aggressive entry, but I'd have to size down. Not super enthusiastic about doing. Okay, back in business here. And this candle should give me increasing volume. So if I don't get an entry here in the next 50 seconds, right, this next candle should give me an opportunity on this equally. Not a huge rush. Kind of force myself to slow down. Although that first trade was like a little bit of a disappointment from an outcome perspective, right? Process wise, it was very solid, right? We spent pretty much 0 time in drawdown. And I had like no reason to have gotten scared by that trade. Frustrating. Bit of a So ideally here, we're going to get the aggressive, right? Let's see where it finds support. Okay, so 65.76 for now. Probably a little bit too aggressive. Cross the spread and you'll get stopped. So I'll call it like 65.73 for now. Let's see again if it finds support. I guess in theory, I could still do the pullback here, which would be 66 under 74. I would need like a 73 entry for 7 contracts. But now it looks like it might go aggressive. So again, we'll switch this up. Stop loss now, 74. That 73 guess was pretty much spot on. Oh, now we're back under. Things making me bipolar. And back to the aggressive. Probably not yet still, right? Our next target on CL would be kind of like this 67 area, right? The next point of contact there on that trend line. So still quite a bit of space. Relative candle still really, really small compared to the last couple of days. Excuse me. All right, so 65.74 as a possible stop loss here. Reference price, right? Previous high of day. All right, so I'm watching for sure. Another cent lower at the very minimum. All right, guys. So I am in 65.79, 65.79, stop loss 65.74, 7 contracts again for 7 units. All right, come on. Already spending a little bit more in drawdown, right, than that first trade. I mean, it's a very relative term as 1 penny, but always something to consider, think about. See if this thing can get over 80. Don't do it. Don't cross. All right, got stopped out there. puts me for, what was that, minus 350-ish. And looks like it might just be a fake out stop loss. Frustrating. We gotten faked out like that. Yeah, I literally just got unlucky with my stop loss. It just crossed the spread there for just the briefest of moments. Annoying. Yeah, I mean that's what I should have probably done, Kiki. So well done. Good job, Tom. Right. Watch here. Just make sure that you basically maintain that rejection candle high. You don't really lose that as your support. Hey, good morning, Mike. Yeah, good trade. Okay, this thing might set back up again, as the lunatic that it is. But it's almost maybe time to start thinking about the indexes a little bit. There's it makes me um uh laugh. There's like that meme, right? It's like, why does God keep sending me the hardest challenges? And then it's like, oh well, it's you're trading NQ every day. Like, what do you expect? Again, kind of a frustrating fake and fake here. Yeah, yeah, ain't that the truth? Walked by a pub last night as I was like taking the dog for a quick little walk, and everyone was just so depressed in it. Oh my gosh. It's a frustrating fake out. I mean, we're still in play here, continuing to look for basically the squeeze move continuation. You're looking at a 65.50 or 66.50, sorry. Okay. Really don't want to see it going past that 84. And then reference price here is going to be 94. So 94 to 87 is what we're going to be looking for. I'm probably going to set my stop loss to be a penny under that. Because that little shakeout and crossing the spread was painful. So we're looking at an 87 stop loss. I'll go 86, right? Just going to add an extra penny here. Okay. So far, no entry. Okay. Better. That's a good bounce. So now it'd be 83. Bounced right off of the previous high. All right. So you would be sizing down here significantly, right? You would be sizing down. You'd be looking at 5 contracts here. Almost typed in 54. That would have been something. All right. So watching here closely. Looking at a 94 or better, right? 94 or better. All right. So I'm in at 94. Stop loss at 83, 5 contracts. Oops. All right. Make sure that this isn't a capitulation type move. For a second there, it looked like it was ready to run. Now, not so much. The little retest of entry price, not the best feeling in the world. Let's see if it can close. It's got volume, so I should give it a little bit of time here. We can close above that blue line. We're in good shape. If not, I'll look to get out. Spread's 2 cents at times. That's a bit scary. Got stuck right at 66 as well. Okay, not a fantastic close, right? So if I can see if we can get out of this on a little pop back up. Let's see if it's got the juice. All right, see if it can go. Give me like a 3 cent squeeze. Okay. Yeah, so let's see if we can give the move here. Start pushing, start pushing. Otherwise, I will close you. Come on. Come on. Find your support. Trying really hard to trust this thesis. Easier said than done. This reaction's not been ideal here, right? Not been able to sustain a move above our confirmation candle high. Makes me think that it might want to fake out prior to it making a move. I'm worried that if it does flush, it might flush pretty quick. Come on. The fact that this is an inside bar is still reasonable enough for me to hold on to this. But like my finger is, it's like floating over the X. Come on. This has got to be a chance here. 2 cents, 3 cents. Ooh, didn't like that little bump at the end. Come on, explode. Oh, trust is such a funny thing. Come on, go, go, go. I mean, this is just ruthless. Come on, come on, come on. Give me one good pop here. I'm being objective. This move has not gone the way that I would have expected if it was strong. Wouldn't have gotten stuck here for so long. So it's got to start to move here. Otherwise, I got to get out. There's too much mental capital at risk getting stopped out of this. The long, drawn out trades, I think, are usually the worst. It's like a weird teaser spot. I'm down $100. Oh man, I'm so close. And double inside bar here. It's setting up for a big move. Yeah, it's getting up there, eh, Dub? It's getting up there. I don't like how it goes from 93 to 91 that quick. The last chance. Come on, give me that pop higher. Come on. Hmm. All right, took the stop loss. I should have probably closed that trade earlier. All right. Now we could possibly look for a rejection right back down towards the lows. Not sure if I understand your question, Jay. All right. So again, now we're looking for potential downside, right? Failed breakout there, rejection off of 66. Targeting a move back down towards low of day, maybe getting that like mid-morning reversal here a little bit. Indexes are very uninteresting so far. It's pretty much a CL only day here at the moment. So we'll be looking for a short this time. Stop loss 65.80. Just rounding it up, right? That extra penny. All right. And so now we're looking. Seven contracts here. To the downside, right? Let's watch this reaction inside the zone. Just make sure it's not a fake out. Excuse me. Okay, good decision to have waited. Now, right, did we establish resistance or is this just going to be a pullback spot? So it'd be 84 as a stop loss now. The world. All right, well, back to the bull case on CL. So no short, right? No short. Okay. Again, we'd be targeting that now. I mean, pullback technique would probably be ideal. Still got to sell off 5 cents or so. In 83 to 79 should still be doable. I'll call that 78 as a stop loss if we're going to get the aggressive. All right, so watching closely here. Tell me I missed that freaking entry again. All right, watching closely. It's got to get under 83. So reference price and entry price are the same in this situation. Fuck me. Quick mover. I don't know if I have the confidence to. I do, but I mean, we've definitely not missed on anything on the indexes. Like I've missed my CL trades by just a second here today. Well, at least we're not dealing with the bullshit of NQ and ES here. All right, so again, could still potentially be in play. Maybe less appealing. Controlled here so far, minus 690.41. Probably shouldn't be red, truth be told. Or I should be red like $200. Couldn't quite find the courage to close that previous trade where I probably should have. Kind of kept talking myself into holding it for longer. All right, back to watching here. Oh. Okay, so let's see if this thing can hold above 66. Oh, what a life. I mean, there's a little part of me that wants to play the low vol pullback. Basically, like off of VWAP. The stop loss at like 40. We've effectively seen just act as support there all day. I would be very curious in that. I mean, this is the low vol pullback, so your stop loss normally should be the midline, but because we have that little point just underneath, right, you'd be looking like this. VWAP is at 58. VWAP is at 58. We need a 65 or 64.25 or better as an entry. So this is your breakout candle right at 1010. Arguably, you could say that this is your breakout. It's mostly that in the zone, right? Say under VWAP, right, to this red line. All you have here is dip buyers, right? All we've seen here all morning is dip buyers loading up and building up their position. Right. So it's a breakout above the opening range, a low vol pull back into it, and then finding support inside. So as much as it's a singular candle setup, it's a contextual setup, right? Also maybe do this 66 breakout right on CL. It was definitely the right idea, but quite executionable. Now let's see if we can get a high volume separation here. Being nice and slow here. No rush to do anything crazy. Hey, Ian, welcome. Great to see you in here. Feel free to ask any questions if something comes up or something doesn't make sense. Not enough volume for reversal there. So again, back to maybe watching CL a little bit. So it'd be 65.97, right, as a stop loss. Okay, so watching here closely, team. Want to see like a little move above and now a gentle pullback back into that blue line. I'm looking at 8 contracts here. Okay, so I am in average price 6601, 6601, stop loss 65.97. Let's see if this thing can push. Where's my setup alerts? Okay, this has got to be its moment here. Right, what we're trying to judge is how strong the move happens on the trades where we've been in good shape. Move has happened quickly. Trades that we get stuck, right? It just doesn't happen at all. So let's see here. That's 160. Good volume, holding highs for now. Not enough separation. I might have jinxed it there at the very end. I don't like how it just gets stuck. It's the worst feeling. Come on, go, go, go. Can I get more separation here? Come on. Yeah, everything feels like it's just getting crazy super stuck. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Like quick pop, drop, quick pop, drop, quick pop, drop. Come on, get over that 05. Get over that 05. Nope. 2-cent spread again. Hmm. Okay, come on. Come on. Okay, bad candle shape. So see if I can get out here in a second. Oh, this is torture. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, it's got to go here. Has to, has to, has to, has to, has to. Come on, CL. Come on, CL. Come on. All right, took the stop. Frustrating. So frustrating trading day here a little bit, but very controlled. And there's a couple trades. I've been faked out of a couple here, like CL's kind of behaving like a fake out again. And we're keeping the loser small, right? When we are losing, just not getting an ounce of follow through here. Again, that VWAP bounces. Maybe I can play this as the reversal thesis here. And yeah, mental capital is fine. It's not quite 900 bucks down on the day, right? Which is pretty positive. But the amount of fake outs is getting annoying. Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that, LJ. And that's the point, right, of sizing down and really trying to be a good loser is you protect your mental capital. And once that's protected and that's in good shape, you remain eligible, right, to basically keep trading at your strongest. But when we give up that mental capital, when we let it drain, when we let our P&L impact us here disproportionately, don't really get that opportunity. Okay, so we have a chance here for a little breakout. So NQ, I would prefer the aggressive personally. If I get the pullback, it would have to be under VWAP, right? So 860-ish. So 16 cents of risk. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable trade here as stands. So stop loss would be 859. 360 bucks a contract. I might be able to get to 2 here. Would be around like there-ish. That's what I'm going to do. Just missed it. If it goes aggressive, though, right, I can still play this. All right, so now stop loss would be 870. Back in business for 2. Okay, as I'm watching here, guys, I am watching here for an entry. We'll pull back here. All right. I'm in 882.50, 882.50, two contracts. Stop loss at 70. Okay. It's got to go quickly here, right? I don't want to be stuck waiting like we have been on all of our other trades here so far today. That has been driving me just a little bit nuts. I also cannot find the setup alerts channel here every time I go to place or write out a trade. Again, driving me a little bit bonkos. Come on. Okay, watch this candle close carefully here. Come on, it's got to go. Trying to get this to go. It doesn't feel like it wants to. Hmm. Come on. I just want see some strength. Feels like so much to ask for. Okay, I've closed this trade early, guys. I've closed this trade early. 872.75. There's my sign of strength. So I will potentially try this again, but I want a better entry. It didn't feel like it was ready. Kind of felt like it was going to stop me out. Once it hit that 80 and couldn't use that as a catalyst higher, it does make me a tad bit nervous that my stop loss is going to be a shakeout, fake out type scenario. Do I play CL to the downside here? That could also be very interesting. All right, let's focus on this. You're looking at a 96 stop loss. So we'll push it up a little bit, right? Call it 98. Reference price of 94. Okay. Okay, NQ would have stopped us out. So good decision. Asked for strength and I did get it in a way. Feel like it's ready to flush. How much of that is wanting it to flush versus how much of it is actually going? There's that 94. Give it a sec again. Excuse me. All right, let's take a look here. Looking at 8 contracts. Okay, so I'm in at 65.95. Got stopped out instantly. Be able to try this again here. Nope. And nice little bounce off the opening range. This coil's tight. Stop loss have to be 860 here, right? Under VWAP. Pretty market. Very, very frustrating. About 1500 now. And watching NQ here, watching NQ as close to the opening range as I can. Be able to get to 3 contracts under 70. Okay, watching here. I'm in, guys, at 70.50, 70.50 as my entry. Long. And stop loss is at 60, which it stopped me out through. Where did that come from? Ay, ay, ay. Fucking again. Fuck, I think I have. All right, trying this again. 64.25 stop loss at 53.50. Oh, frustrating. Come on, start pushing here. Feels a little bit like a failed breakout, right? A little bit. I honestly keep getting stopped out before my spread even crosses. That's where the stop loss should have been. Ay, ay, ay. All right, I got one last shot in me, and it's now in playing this rejection here to the downside. What to do? Okay, so stop loss would be 858. Okay, a little pullback here, please. Okay, so I'm in 849.25. 849.25. The All right, I'm just watching to see if this thing stops me out. We felt a little bit rushed on this trade. I do one more stop here. And all right, guys. So I am in 863.75. 863.75. Essentially just doing a little fake out entry here. 863.75. It has been a million paper cut death here today. Beyond frustrating. Stop loss is 10 points away. Stop loss is 10 points away. Ah, traded today. Leaving or in the session feeling pretty discouraged today. Huh. It'd be fair to say that the 10-day win streak is going to come to an end today. By some freaking miracle, we get a 600-point flush. Maybe. I'm frustrated today because I actually think that process wise, it actually was a pretty good day. Like I didn't get carried away with any of my losses. I controlled them well. I couldn't get any separation or couldn't get any separation before a fake out. And so it's frustrating. On those days, like had I broken my rules, I would have made a lot of money. Like it's trying to remind me pain of discipline. And I'm saying that out loud. It's kind of a bullshit excuse. What all I'm telling myself there, right, is that like my analysis is good, my execution is shit. This job is so freaking hard. All right, come on. A little bit too much self-loathing in this trade. All right, let's see if this thing can keep breaking down. Can't pyramid in here. It's too aggressive. Much risk of screwing up the mental capital even more. Yeah, I'm tired of looking at crude oil here today, David. I've tried too many times, and it keeps stopping me out and then making the move. I'm not I'm not going to keep trying. Still inside this NQ short. 4 points in the green. So let's see if this thing can go and get me back to respectable numbers at least. Yeah, there's a little bit, maybe some complacency, right? Such a weird sensation. And it's like yeah, I mean I talked about this a little bit this morning, but it feels like there's too much of a divergence between my win rate and like my average daily win rate, if that makes sense, right? Where like the number of days where I'm finishing green is higher than it's ever been. The intraday results of trading is like it's definitely the worst run of form of the year. I'm pulling my hair out a little bit here, frustration. I mean, I probably should have been out of this, but I'm so close to getting locked out. I'm kind of it as is. One of the, I don't know, the weird things about maybe today's price action. I didn't I didn't feel the will to like fight back today. Just willing to accept it. I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing. Yeah, I'm basically just holding it until my lockout kicks in. I have no idea, Aj. I don't track that. The reason why things get stuck is always easy in hindsight. Yeah, Brooke, I have an auto lockout feature on my account, so if I lose more than 3,100, it stops me for the day. The custom number. Yeah, I get that, Kiki. I understand. My thesis hasn't been straight up wrong. My timing cannot be correct to save my life. It is definitely a little bit of an ego-based decision because I'm trusting that my feel of the market is better than my execution of the market. I do think that that is probably a little bit hypocritical. Oh, you are right to call me out. So sitting on, including unrealized, about 2,600 bucks down. I effectively need like 100 point flush. I need a 50 point flush, I should say. Ask. Pure gamble. It's funny how your self-talk, how it changes. Like just there, like my intrusive thought was like, if I close this, it's gonna dump. If I hold this, it's gonna pump. That's not. Um, hey guys, allowed to break the rules is an oxymoron, right? Not that it's allowed to, it's that has happened. Now trying to just manage it as calmly as possible. No allowed to, right? Can get through 50. Again, right? Did have the thesis correct. Timing on my execution has been shit all day. $15, 17, 18, 2000. It's going to need some analysis once I'm done it. Because I will always share with you, right, the good and the bad, why I'm doing something, how I do something, how I manage something. But I'm also not going to be perfect 100% of the time. I haven't pyramided in here. I haven't done anything else. This original position up 30 points. I agree. Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Watching. Here's 4,500. Okay, still watching here for an exit. There's 5K, 55, 57, 56, 6. Same bullshit I had the other day with my exit. Trying to get an execution here on my fill. It's not letting me. It's working out in my favor. This is now 7,000. All right, guys. It has closed at 751. I understand that, Kiki. I appreciate that. I deserve that. I know, Kiki. And it's been a tough 3 months, right, of exiting trades. I don't want there to feel like there's a revolt in here. Nor do I want it to feel like I'm cheating you guys, right? Not my intention. Sitting here, I don't feel like I won, right? I haven't been happy with my trading for the last 2 months, right? Easily. I'm trying my hardest, right, to try to get these changes. Things also do accumulate. I do appreciate the feedback. I'm not going to hide from it. I get that, Kiki. I care too, right? I don't think I traded like the Michael I can be for a while too. Yeah, for sure it has been to a certain extent like akin to a martingale strategy. But we're taking the long way there, and then we're yeah, getting bailed out, getting bailed out, getting bailed out, and each bailout is happening later and later and later. That's exaggerating problems, right? And exaggerating drawdown. I do get that. My intention is not to be a gambler, it is to trade and to trade under control. And repeat my edge and to execute it. I've never been one to hide from you guys or to lie to you guys. So that's why I'm here listening to the feedback while I'm taking it on. I obviously appreciate it. Nice work, Steven. Glad to hear you're green. No victory lap here, guys. There's no yeah, we'll pay for your combines, John. Look, guys, I fundamentally love what I do, right? So I enjoy doing this. I obviously don't enjoy it when there is a divergence here, right? When I'm making money and you guys are losing money, or you guys are losing money, or you guys are making money, I'm losing money, like these divergences aren't where they should be, nor are they the objective is here. And in also fairness, right? It is worth calling me out. I can't argue with the accusations, right? I went mental stop loss on that last trade instead of hard stop loss. I'm not trusting my winning trades. I'm closing them early and then giving back P&L and then trying to chase back and make that back. I can't argue with any of those accusations. But I am also trying to work through it. I'm trying to figure out how to adapt my edge. I'm calm. I'm keeping my mental capital. I am trying to get better. Well, I think a little bit of it is gambling, Rusty. Um, like just having a mental stop, right? That's a commitment to saying, hey, this idea is going to work out, damned or not. Oh, that is for sure a reasonable and fair statement. I think the frustrating part that trades uh, aren't feeling super systematic here at the moment, right? Each example is a little bit different. Each trade's a little bit of a different variant. So there's maybe not as much consistency, right, in those processes as there was when we were in trending markets. Now that things are a little bit sticky again, uh, those issues are getting exaggerated. I don't mean that by people in the stream or people in the program. They're being exaggerated or taking advantage of by the market, right? It's kind of like crushing those bad habits a little bit. Yeah, like I can't enjoy like it's impossible to want to enjoy this trading day. One, if you need a candle like this to bail you out, like I know these are starting to become more and more common in this market, but like this is a bullshit candle, right? So look, any other feedback here, team? Obviously very committed to giving you guys all that you need out of this service and this program. And it's very clear that not everyone feels like they're getting everything that they need out of it. So I want to make sure that I'm able to provide that service as best as I can. Make it so that we can all be successful, not just one of us, not just two of us, not just people who have been here for a long time. Well, guys, speak up your minds here. Well, the trading more after 11:30. No, Brooke, I'm out of this trade. It closed at 100 points. No. Um, is because I've been trying to trade later to avoid the fake out in the first couple trades of the day. That has been like a correction, right, to basically managing. I'm not going to apologize for my trading hours. I think the reframing, uh, be more aggressive and to be looser with my evals, I think that's having negative consequences. I'm willing to trade 2%, right, max daily drawdown instead of 1%. And because like even on small moves, I can build up so much leverage that I can pretty much trade myself out of a red day, assuming I just get a little bit lucky with timing. I definitely think that that has probably made it more challenging to accept red days, like you're saying, Antonin. I won't disagree with that. That's not all sunshine. On that last trade of the day, I had a theoretical risk of about $600, right? 10 points, 3 contracts. So I don't think so there's a little bit of, obviously I ignored my stop loss there, right? Um but that's not increasing my risk. It's increasing my position sizing, right? So you tend to be able to increase your position sizing a little bit later on in the day because things tighten up, right? And you're able to get those 10 points or less stop losses on NQ. That's a little bit of a little bit of what that element is. Whereas the volatility decreases, right? You can increase your position sizing and still be able to be profitable. And because I've been having more success on those trades, right, as the volatility decreases, that's why I'm spending more time in over. I think in general, if you're a smaller account and you're trading minis instead of micros, you don't stand the chance. You can't survive losses. Yeah, I've been bailed out too much. I can't disagree with that. I've been rewarded for getting bailed out. So you keep getting a positive reward for a bad thing, and you're going to keep wanting to do it. Any other comments, guys? Any other feedback here? I promise I won't get mad. Ten trades, 2 wins. Honestly, pathetic. So, like, what I think it is to a certain extent, and yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but I think I've deviated a little bit too much from the base hit mindset and have basically just gotten bailed out too often from home run trades. So I need to get back to being a base hit trader, getting big wins from a repeatable, consistent process, not by swinging harder. At the moment, I'm trying to swing harder, and it's only working out right once I'm on 2.5 strikes. Um, yeah, that's extremely disappointing. My intention here always is to make sure that everyone has the information that they need to be profitable and to make money. And if I'm not helping you accomplish that, and I'm honestly being a hypocrite, right, in the execution of that, then I clearly need to be better and I need to improve. I'm going to focus on that here to make sure that that occurs. I don't have a complete and total answer for you all here today. I need a little bit of time to think about it and to figure out how I'm gonna basically break this pattern. So bear with me here a little bit, but the feedback has been heard. I understand, and I appreciate you guys' candor and honesty. So final call here, team. Final call. Sounds good, Mike. Appreciate that. Sounds good, Jeff. Enjoy your day, man. I'm sorry, team. Sorry. All right, guys. I gotta jump off here. I have a one-on-one call I need to jump onto. But same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. If you have any feedback or anything, please send me a message or an email. I'll obviously take a look. But obviously appreciate you guys all. Looking forward to a strong trading day here tomorrow. And yeah, we'll get her going, guys. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk soon.